Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Myth. When last we left off, we had a bit of a conversation with Shimon Valkyrie, and, well, some stuff was revealed. I would recommend going over that again and kind of, if you want to, if you just want to go along with the story, that's also fine. Go along and kind of dig through some of the stuff that she said, as some of it has a deeper meaning as to the whole story as overall and what's going on currently. But yeah, do that if you want. I'd recommend it. I think it's interesting, but you know, I might also be thinking a bit too much and making connections with stuff that isn't there because I know the story. And just anything that's just an offhanded comment that I think, oh, that could be referencing this thing or this thing or this thing later in the story, and it's really not. It's just a weird offhanded comment by somebody, whatever. But let's get back into it, shall we? And hopefully get to this episode without dying of sneezing to death. Ah, my fucking allergies are bad today. Yeah. The chirping of the insects, the silhouette of the mountain against the backdrop of the setting sun, a peaceful dream. A dream. This is a dream. Shimon's house, a place that doesn't exist. Is anyone there? I muttered to myself. Neither Shimon, nor Riri, or So, nor Kiki, nor Yuri were there, despite the fact that they should be on the stage. Sure. I heard a voice at my knees. It wasn't a shadow. It was a human girl. Who are you? She didn't respond. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Tiny droplets of tears formed in her eyelashes. Why are you crying? I stopped myself from asking her that, though. Hey, Morgana, you're a pretty girl. We'll play after I finish recording. I promise. Cat. Katsu. I noticed her gaze. Her gaze was fixed upon something. The large mountains in the distance. Boundless greenery. The greenery eventually gave way to orange sky. It was a strange scene, or perhaps it wasn't that strange at all. Maybe I wasn't used to seeing nature like this. Hi. Yes, I've already acknowledged you. I petted you. Yes, hi. I felt something at my knee. The girl was poking it. I looked down at her. She held her right hand out. What is this? Huh? It was a long piece of wood. You're giving this to me? She nodded. I held my hands out. She began to open her hand when a dream. I wasn't going to let the word explain everything, or let that word explain everything. I couldn't help but think as much as I gazed at the piece of wood in my right hand. It was far too realistic for this to be just a dream. I took out my cell phone and checked the date. You slept a while there. Well, I guess you didn't sleep a while because you didn't get home until at least 5:30. So whatever. Someone called me then, and I answered. Good timing. Meto, where are you? The dial tone soon gave way to Yuri's voice. Why didn't you answer? I've called you a number of times already. I didn't know that. I was sleeping. I tried to justify why I didn't answer, but I continued nonetheless. Well, not exactly sleeping, but... What do you mean? Yuri, you had the pages we tore out of the notebook, right? Yeah? What about it? Could you return them to me? Let's meet at the diner. Did you have a dream? Yeah. Explain it to me. It was a dream set in the world of shadows. It'd be quicker if you just looked at this. I took the old whistle out of my backpack. What's this? A girl in that world gave it to me. A girl? Yeah, she seemed even younger than So. She had a body though, so I don't think she was that Hibiki girl. Did you recognize her? I tried to think of what she looked like. She was very small, probably around 3 to 5 years old. She was wearing rather standard Western clothing. I didn't recognize her though. No. I replied to Yuri after I thought about it. So, what's the relationship between her and the notebook? It's something different. That was just one of the dreams I had. What do you mean? I had another dream yesterday, too. Valkyrie was in it. Valkyrie? She told me there was no meaning in me being here. She said to look at the notebook pages for days 17 and 19 from the last time around. That's why I wanted to see the notebook. I don't really get it, but... She pulled out the pieces of the notebook from her bag. Did you explain in more detail? I took the pieces of paper as I replied, yes. Let's look at what happened on days 17 and 19. Hi. You really want me to pet you, don't you, little girl? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. 17th. Riri brought me to the gate. 19th. Brought Riri to the gate. Me as part of the story. The gate is the only common thing that both entries note. Gate. That doesn't exist here in Tokyo. A note was written at the end of the flowchart dealing with detailing the inconsistencies between the 17th and 19th days. What could that mean? I tried to think about it. Days 17 and 19, Riri-san and I went to the gate. Gate. Why would Odin have us do that in the story? She must have known that we had both regained our will at that point. Was there some reason why she had to make us go to the gate? One idea came to mind. I looked through each entry for every day that was written about in my notebook. Day 15, I regained my will and began to write down what was happening. I see. In broad terms, the majority of the story just focused on the everyday stuff. Was it really necessary for us to see the gate? The answer is no. It's not consistent with the plot. It's an inconsistency. If this is the same inconsistency that Meito spoke of last time, then... Yuri, you might be right. Yeah? By that I mean, Tokyo, right now, in the year 2002, exists as a result of myth's own autonomy. There's a greater possibility that that's actually true. You're just moving around my legs. Why are you? Are you wanting attention that badly, little girl? Or no, you want to play? Okay. In other words, let's make a diagram. Oh no. I took out a napkin and began to draw a diagram on it. If this isn't on a napkin, I'm going to be disappointed. God damn it. Okay. Day 17, took Riri taken to the gate by Riri. Day 18, ordinary routine with Riri. Riri and Beto Tanabe created a home-like feel, discussion about death. Day 19, took Riri to the gate. Day 20, stargazing together at night. We went to look at the gate. I felt that was too sudden. Okay, ordinary route with Riri nearly definite, leading to that. Ordinary route with Riri nearly definite, leading to that. Stargazing together at night to Riri's death. Okay. Meaning that Riri-san and I were doing something before we went to the gate. Based on the entry from the previous day, that was probably just our usual everyday activities. Otherwise, the act of going to the gate wouldn't be an inconsistency. Right? Okay. Red, plot 1. Blue, plot 2. Green, free will. Red with being an ordinary routine. Blue being talking to Riri by the gate. Red being ordinary routine. Riri and Beto create a home-like feel. Free will, discussion about death. Plot 1, ordinary routine. Plot 2, took Riri to the gate. Plot 1, stargazing at night. Free will, Riri's death. Okay. In which case, someone intended for us to either go to the gate or act out that everyday stuff. Neither Riri-san nor I did either out of our own free will, of course. Meaning a third person penned it. Or Myth's own autonomy produced it. That's where conjecture seems more likely now. Think about it. We were driven by the plot the entire time we were in the Shadow Village. And that wasn't strictly the case once we arrived in Tokyo, though. We had our own sense of movement and time. We weren't forced to move around like scene changes obligated us to either. This goes beyond just conjecture. It's almost certain that myth can change the world of its own will. So this is something more like a theory. Yeah. So what about that? It means... I pointed at the paper from the notebook again. Which one of these two events was produced by Myth's own autonomy? It has to be the gate event. Right. Going to the gate is out of character for both of them. Meaning, going to the gate was something that Odin didn't want to happen. Another inconsistency that's been lingering about came to mind, though. And? What's the main difference between the gate's Tokyo and this Tokyo? There is no difference, but something is concerning. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing, little girl? My parents, right? Right. There's a significant difference between your parents you saw in the gate and your parents that we've seen here. What do you think you're doing? No, no, no. No, no, no. Right. Just look at the notebook. There's something written here concerning what appears to be my past. But there's something important that's missing from my parents. A reason to invite you to Myth? Right. My parents brought me to Myth. But there was nothing like that this time around. And there's no reason behind my existence here. The reason why I came to Myth is unknown, given we lack information concerning the gate's Tokyo. The difference between the gate's Tokyo and this one... Hey, don't buy my microphone cable, XLR cable, that thing. It means that, inevitably, this Tokyo is different from the one I lived in. So, this is a different Tokyo born from Myth's autonomy. That's what it seems like. I sighed. This was confusing. Anyway, a particular image is beginning to form. What's that? The Meito in the video spoke differently than I do, like the way the character Meito does. In addition, my parents in the world thought it was strange that I called them Papa and Mama. It means that it's likely that the Meito Tanabe in this video is from this world. That would make the most sense consistency-wise. The world and myself seem unrelated, or this world and myself seem unrelated. I took a sip from my cup after I finished explaining. Yuri spoke up after I finished drinking about half the water in it. "Then there's no point in us being here," she muttered what Valkyrie said before. "Then why hasn't it been erased? Why hasn't this world, this unrelated world, been erased from existence? It's an inconsistency." "Hi, yes, we will play soon, I promise. I promise. I know you're a little hyperactive little kitten. I know these things." It's an inconsistency. Yuri looked through the paper from the notebook. "Miss Automatomy produced the event of you and Lydia going to the gate. And that cover only just going to see the gate, though?" "What do you mean? Wasn't there something else after that? Wouldn't Miss Autonomy produce another event following that?" "Let's find out." The 17th followed plot 1 and plot 2. The 18th followed plot 1 and a scene under our control. The 19th followed plot 1 and plot 2. The 20th followed plot 1 and a scene under our control. Look at this. Yuri pointed at a particular part of the notebook, what Riri-san saw in the gate. "You wrote that you should have asked what disturbed Riri." "That was indeed what I said, but..." "Meaning you asked her something but it was against your will?" Discussed feelings hypothetical being free will, discussed feelings hypothetical being free will on days 17 and 19. "Something that had nothing to do with her being upset." "Meaning..." "If you think of it like a mechanism of sorts, it means that you were within the writer's scenario. At least until we arrived in Tokyo. And the people controlling this can erase this world, yet despite that they haven't. Then why does this world exist?" "When you had that dream yesterday," Yuri questioned me with a meek look upon her face. "Was it when you were watching the videotape in Tanabe Optics research?" "Huh?" The look on her face suggested that she had expected as much, like a mystery had just been solved. Yuri stood up from her seat. It was like she had a handle on everything now. "Wait, where are you going?" "I'm heading home. Maybe I'll watch an out-of-print movie or something." "Having fun with your bone. Please don't knock things over into your water dish. Please, thank you." "I know you're still small, but you're bigger than you think you are." I quickly downed the rest of my drink. "Hold on, we're not done talking yet. Meito Tanabe was here in this world before the plot went off track." "Huh?" "In other words, that was likely the Meito who was supposed to be in the story. Meito Tanabe was here. Then what about what Valkyrie said? I wonder if what Valkyrie said was merely a trap, or merely goodwill." She left some money on the table and stood up after muttering that. "Well, you probably are planning on returning to the story, right?" "If you see Meito Tanabe within the story, please kill him." I was uneasy. Valkyrie's words were inconsistent. "I said what I wanted. The rest is up to you." do it. The coin would be tossed, and it would be either heads or tails. I couldn't just turn around and run away from this bet. I have no choice but to believe her. Right, we can't turn back now. Yuri gazed at me. The look in her eye was sharp. It felt like it was going to overwhelm me. Be honest, you aren't the type capable of hiding things. You must sense it yourself that something feels off about you. I'm no match for you. You're just too easy to understand. This time, she finally stood up. I followed her as well. Oh, no. When did you notice that something felt off about me? Even I could only barely sense it. I thought no one else would be able to. That's how minor it was. When we were on the phone, you said you didn't know that I called. What's the first thing you see when holding a cell phone? That there's been a mixed call, or that there's a symbol in the top corner saying so. Usually that is what you'd say after seeing that indication in me asking if you got my call. Oh, I guess I didn't notice. In addition, what you told me here at the Steiner, and whoever's behind all of this is trying to meet with you. Anything can happen. You could be the boy who leapt through time. She joked. But what will happen if I answer the phone? You'd probably meet with the past. Although I know that'll end how that'll end if you do. A conversation between the me of today and the Yuri of today. And this was insane. It's a good thing I contacted you. I was able to hand the notebook pages over before we parted. Right. I was really happy we were able to talk. So what do you plan on doing? You have 2 more days left. I want to go to Yuniichi's place. There's something I want to confirm while I'm still here. Yuri said, I see. Be careful. She began to walk away after that. Yuri. I called out to her. I wasn't just longing to spend more time with her. I knew she had given up. There was nothing else she could do, given we existed on separate axes of time. Everything was pointless. That was precisely why I called out to her, though. She turned around and... Let's go on a date tomorrow. That was how I wanted to say goodbye. You said you wanted to go to Namja Town, right? Let's go there and have a good time. Then let's go to the loft and catch a live show. And after we get all fired up there, we should get something to eat. Then... I didn't finish. I didn't think I should say the rest. So, don't be late. You're usually always late. I don't want to hear that from you at this point. Well, that's fair. We laughed together. That might have been the first time she smiled for me. It brought back memories of her. It made me realize that she really was Yuri Yamagami. Eventually, the real tomorrow would come. That's a right given to everyone, so long as we remain human. Even we should be able to find tomorrow in this fate continually looping today. Tomorrow would eventually come. I'd have to go so that I could meet this person I used to love so much. So I could meet her, even though her personality had completely changed. So I could meet the birth of a new day, watching over all of our actions. I'm sure I can have a better understanding of how she is by now then. I'm sure I can accept her as the 32-year-old Yuri Yamagami without that feeling strange to me. See you tomorrow then. Yep, see you. We said that with serious looks on our faces. That was all. After I watched her walk away, I headed for the station. Sign. Meow. Movement 9, Rest 2, December 23rd, 2016, 9:08 a.m. Haha! Got it. And I think this is where I'm going to end this episode. Next time, will we have a nice date with Yuri? Oh, and meet Uni Ichi. Hi, cat. Yes, I'm ending the episode. You can hear that, can't you? Yeah, and we will do that, and maybe there's a flashback. I'm curious as to what's gonna happen with that, because there's always, important thing. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there's interesting stuff going on in the flashback. There's a couple of things that, well, we'll see. Yeah. Date with Yuri, meeting Uni. Both very important things. One more important than the other, but, Uni is just a child after all. Who cares about her? Yeah. I hope to see you all next time.